I think it's supposed to be this way. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Test, test. Parevner! This is Patil Tutunjan coming to you from Toronto, but talking to you about Armenia today. So I've been back, as you guys know, from my 6 months trip. It's been about a month now since I've been back, and still the number one question that I get every single day is, how much should people budget for Armenia? How much did I spend in Armenia? So I thought, let's do a video on this and let's talk about it. But before we begin, two important channel news. Number one, thank you so much for everyone who's been sending me friend requests on Facebook. I had no idea that Facebook actually has a limit of 5,000 friends. So because I can't accept all your friend requests, I've reached the Facebook limit of how friendly I can be. I actually created a page, which I don't think has a limit. So I'm going to link the page in the description. So go like and follow the page, because by joining the page, you can join a group, which is basically a more interactive community on Facebook where we can all talk to each other, comment, have discussions. So in order for you to get into that private group, join the page, like the page, follow the page, and then I will invite you to come into the group, which is, I think, maybe a good solution. So check the link in the description. Number two, I think I'm looking in the wrong spot. I think I should be looking in the camera. Also, I'm sitting on a spinny chair, so I might every once in a while spin. Just ignore me. Second important information or channel news is this guy. So you guys have met the microphone a few days ago, and I felt like time to bring on a new team member. So we have the newest sound engineer, but we're still working on the name. So in the comments below, let me know what should we name the newest sound engineer joining the YouTube team. So now it's less awkward when I clip this guy here. So now we're a team of two. Okay, without further ado, let's get started on how much did I spend in Armenia and how much should you budget for. And a huge little note before I start is, when I talk about the prices and I kind of say if it's considered to be expensive or more on the more affordable side, I'm basing this based on what else you can do with that amount in Armenia. I'm not basing this on other countries. I'm not basing this on how much money people make individually or me personally or someone else. I'm basing it on comparatively, if you were to not do that activity, what else you can do instead. And that's how I'm kind of comparing or basing the line of, is this considered to be affordable or not? Because otherwise we're opening a can of worms and it's going to just be it's just going to be tough to kind of compare because everybody has obviously different budgets. And also based on how long you're staying, all of that taking into consideration, I thought this would be the best way to do it. So that's how we're going to do it. I'm going to try to do this menu item where I talk about kind of the more essential things. And then I'm going to go from there into the more, the luxury things or the things that you can do for entertainment. And then I'm going to tell you how much I've spent. And then the next time I'm in Armenia, I will be having a little bit of a different experience. I'll tell you why when I get there. But for now, this experience is based on me living there for 6 months. So the longer term living situation, I guess, which the main amount of money is in the apartment, which makes a huge impact how long you're staying. Okay, let's get started. Item number one, which is pretty, I guess, important, is the apartment rental and electricity and utilities and all of that comes with it. So if you are renting for a long-term apartment and you do this through a broker or a landlord, so not a hotel, not an Airbnb, you're kind of renting an apartment, you're looking at something from $200 USD to even up to $1,000 USD. So based on how new the building is, the location, the size, all of it included, also how long you're staying, because if you're doing a longer term, then per month your rental will be a bit less. Also, what season you're going. The season is really important in Armenia when you're looking for apartments. So if you were to look to rent an apartment starting in June or July or August, it would be a higher ask versus if you're going in a lower season time. So I personally started from March till September, and I paid 350 USD for a studio apartment in the center, the city center. It was an older building with no elevator. You'll see this in a few of my videos. I mentioned that there's no elevator, which was kind of tough because it was on the fourth floor. So, you have to compromise sometimes based on what you're looking for and what's more important for you. For me, the no elevator was okay because I really wanted to stick within the budget of 350. Actually, this was a bit over my budget, but I just kind of at that point went with it because I just needed an apartment. In the description below, I will also include the contact information of my broker that I've used. He's really, really nice guy, speaks English, quick to get back to you. So I'm going to include the WhatsApp number of my broker. I'll do another video with him when I'm back in Armenia. It just because it was a very high season for him, we couldn't do it last time, but I will do one with him when I'm back. So for now, a studio apartment for me was $350 USD, US dollars, I guess, US dollars. And in that amount was included my internet, which usually would cost you from about $20 to a little bit less than $20, I want to say. So it was 7,000 Armenian dirhams, but the landlord kind of included that as a deal in the apartment. It's not always the case. Sometimes you will have to pay for the internet separately. The utilities are usually not included, so electricity, gas, and water. My apartment specifically did not have gas, so it was just electricity and water, and that per month cost me from $20 to sometimes $50 a month based on how much I use the AC. So for now, we're gonna say a month per month. We're gonna kind of round it and get the average. $400 US dollars, $400 US dollars per month when it comes to utility, apartment, and internet. So that's kind of the most essential, I guess, amount or thing that you need when you're moving there. So that's number one. Number two, obviously, is groceries. So I made an entire video on how much groceries cost. You want to go check out that video. I'm going to include the link in the description. So I actually went shopping for with $10 only. It was a fun experience. I actually went over the budget a little bit, and I would say I would have that shopping experience about 4 times a month. Because the things that I was buying were not necessarily like meat. It was more like beans and, cereal and coffee and vegetables. So I would say 4 times a week I would go shopping for groceries with $10. So about $40 a month for groceries. Again, if you start including the meat and all of that, that's gonna go up a lot more. Because obviously like meat is more expensive. So that's the groceries cost. When it comes to transportation, again, I made a video on transportation and how much it would cost based on what modes of transportation you take. So when you're looking for your apartment location, based on why you're going to Armenia, like let's say if you're going for work for a few months or even a year, because there are a lot of programs that bring you there for work for a year, and your work will be in the city center. So then you kind of spend a bit more on your apartment to be in the city center, and then you kind of save on transportation. For me personally, there were a lot of times where I was, let's say, coming back home when it was a bit darker, or going to places for filming when it was like not even morning yet, like at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I had to be on the road to go filming. So I did take the taxi a lot, which that's why I would say my average for transportation went from, it got actually up to $100 a month sometimes, because I did, like I said, this is on the higher end just because I had to use it for work. So check out the transportation video as well. I will link it in the description, and to get a more idea of the different modes. Like if I actually knew how to ride a bike, I would be saving a lot, but a lot of times I would just be like, oh my God, it's 3 a.m. I just want to take the taxi, and then that kind of started adding up. So That's transportation, and I would say those three would be kind of like the most essential ones, the things that you kind of like can't avoid. It's gonna happen. Hopefully the one thing that you can avoid is medical bills. Hopefully you go there and you're healthy and you never have to go to the doctor. So I did not have insurance when I was there, and unfortunately I actually got sick for a week and I had to go to the hospital and all of that, and this experience, let's call it, cost me about $300. So this was not budgeted for me. It was a one-time expense. It's not something that's going to reoccur every month, like what I mentioned with the apartment and the groceries and the transportation. So this is something that I had to kind of suddenly find budget for and figure it out, because I didn't have insurance. I didn't have healthcare there. So it's something that I had to do. It was like not an option. So basically medical bills, it was about $300. I also made a video on that experience, which I'll also link in the description, because if I talk about each one in very much detail like I did with each video, then this is going to be like the longest video. So that's medical bills. When it comes to like a night out or a nightlife there, based on what you go out to do, basically each night out could cost you about $20. So overall, bars and restaurants are pretty affordable, and very accessible. So in the city center, there's basically walking distance from each other. You'll find like on one street 3 or 4 bars and maybe 10 restaurants and cafes, and they're always full and it's always lively. So this is the tricky thing about Armenia. People are in the restaurants and the bars and they're always open, and you know, people go not just on the weekends but basically every night of the week. So based on your lifestyle and what you choose kind of to do when you go out, it's about $20 each time you go out. So that's kind of like a roughly estimate, and then multiply it by the number of times that you'll go out. Speaking of night outs, restaurants. So again, I've made a video about me going to a restaurant with under $10. I would say if you're just going by yourself, $10 is more than enough for you to dine in a restaurant. And I'm saying restaurant like a good mid-range restaurant, not sushi. Sushi places are expensive. Other than sushi, pretty much everything else with $10, you're gonna get more than enough food. So also, I'll link that video in the description if you want to see a better feel of what $10 could get you. In a lot of the videos too, whenever I eat, I try to kind of mention the prices too. So check out my other videos, I guess. Okay, so gyms is another thing that people usually look for when they're going to Armenia. I remember when I was going the first time, I researched the gyms. Honestly, I find gyms to be a bit expensive when it comes to, again, like I said at the beginning, comparing of what else you could do with that amount. So I've done a lot of research like with the package and stuff, and honestly, it kind of shocked me, the prices. Let me know in the comments below if you know of gyms that you find them to be affordable for Armenia. Let me know, or let us know, all of us. But my experience with gyms, I actually went to 12 rounds for boxing for 2 months with a personal trainer. So the higher, I guess, like the range of price, I would say. They do have other options where it's a group training, but for my schedule, I had to do personal training. So I was able to do it for 2 months, and each month was about $100. So again, you could do a lot with that $100 in Armenia, but I personally think it was worth it. It was 3 times a week. It was supposed to be 1 hour each time you go, but honestly, like I would be there for 2 hours, like intensely training. So for me, it was worth it, and I've learned a lot that I could take with me, even though I couldn't continue, but I was able to take the things that I've learned and apply it to my training at home that I was doing on my own. So super worth it for me. But just want to say, when you're looking at personal trainers or gyms overall, you're looking at from $50 to $100. When it comes to, now let's talk about maybe shopping, which also covers like vernissage shopping, I guess. Shopping, really think about it, is that if you're going to a mall, it's the same brands that you will find in other places, other countries. So you'll find Zara, Mango, and all of that, and the prices are basically the same, and then they're just converted to AMD, Armenian dirhams. So like really just a t-shirt would be, I don't know, like 20 to 30 to $50, and so on and so forth. So just really, it's the same how much you want to shop. I would say live a minimalist life. I don't know. Check it out. So when you're going to a vernissage, I've again done a video on vernissage, check that out. At vernissage, you can go to buy one item, like a jezva for coffee or a coffee mug, or not a mug, like the cups, the Armenian coffee cups, or you could buy like little souvenirs. You can spend anything from $20 to 200. And the reason I'm saying 200 even more is, let's say, what if you're going to buy a carpet, and some carpets are 100, 150 years old, and it's going to be like $500, $1,000. So you could really spend a range of things when you go to vernissage. One thing I forgot to mention in the essentials is the phone plans. They're actually very affordable. They go from $5 to about $12 a month based on how much data you're going to use. I was personally with VivaCell. There's a place open 24 hours on Amiria Street, very close to Republic Square. So if you're just traveling in and you want to like right away get a SIM card, you can also get them at the airport. They will charge it for you. It's a very, very quick process, very accessible, and you just put the amount prepaid and then you use it as you pay as you go type thing. So that one is pretty affordable. Last but not least, we're going to talk about swimming pools and adventures. So for swimming pools, I personally used to go, I would always put it on my Instagram stories and people would ask me, where is this? So there's this Caucasus hotel that has a swimming pool inside, which is one of the most affordable ones. Not the most, it is one of the most, yeah, it's one of the most affordable ones, which the cheapest you'll find is 5,000 Armenian dirhams, which is $10. And then inside you can buy drinks and food and all of that. So that's the one I used to go to, but there are even ones that would go up to $50 for entry. So there's a range. I would say one of the new ones that opened up is called Jellyfish. And from the pictures, it looks cool. I just haven't gone there. So maybe I'll pull some photos from their Instagram and I'll plug it in. So there are a range of swimming pools that you can go to based on, again, the budget that you're looking for and how often you're going to go. Because I used to like to go like when it was really, really hot in the summer, I would go almost once a week. I would go to the one with $10 entry fee. Yeah. For the adventures, last but not least, you should definitely get out of Yerevan when you go to Armenia based on your time and what are the types of activities you're looking for to do. Definitely check out the video I made for the ultimate adventure guide in Armenia. So check that one out. I mentioned all the prices and the different activities, like there's zip lining, rock climbing, hot air balloon, water rafting, like there's multiple, like even skydiving, not the one where you jump from a plane, the one that you just go like that, sky surfing. Wow, I'm blanking. Anyway, so that one too. I mentioned the prices in there. This would be kind of like the more expensive things that you would do in Armenia, but you would do it like once, once or twice based on if you really like it and you want to do it again. And for these types of adventures, you're looking to spend something from $50 to even sometimes $200 per activity based on what it is. The most expensive one that I have done is the hot air balloon. And the most affordable one that I've done was the Yell Extreme Park zip lining and the rock climbing, which was kind of like a whole package. So check that video out to see which one you want to do and plan ahead. Some of them get booked before far in advance. So check that one out. So drum roll. Was that a good drum roll? I personally would spend, based on, like I said, what I do per month, from $500 to $1,000. I know it's a huge range. It's literally the double. But really it is because you can, just like any country, you can live a minimal life or you can kind of go crazy some months and do different things and add-ons. So for me, it was very much based on if I would do an activity to film it, if I was going outside of Yerevan to film something, and then that would be transportation costs. So that's where that huge range comes from. And then sometimes all my filmings would be in Yerevan, and then I wouldn't have even time to do extra like activities, and then it would stick to the minimal of the, the essentials of the living and the internet and the internet and the gas and the electricity and all of that. So So I hope this was helpful. I know for me personally, the first time I went, I was going to volunteer with Birthright Armenia, and I knew I'm going for over a year, so I was super panicking, like checking, oh my God, how much should I take with me? How much should I budget for things? Is this going to be enough? Because you're volunteering. So I know this is something you think about when you're going there. So hopefully this video was helpful. If I missed something, let me know in the comments. Like I said, this was the version of you're going to live there for a longer period of time, so 6 months to a year. I'll do one in my next trip because it will have a different nature to it. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't. Like this video. Share it with people who you think will like it. Thank you so much, guys. I love you all so much. Bye.